Now, after understanding this, let us see the ozone hole. In 1980s, the hole on the South Pole in Antarctica was noticed by the scientists, and that is called ozone in the hole in the ozone layer, through which the sun's UV radiations were directly falling on the Earth's atmosphere, and that is what is called the ozone hole, or ozone hole in the ozone layer. That is what is written as ozone hole. Now we need to understand how this hole has taken place over the South Pole, where there is actually as such no pollution. What happens is a very unique type of system works in that. During summers, what we find is that whatever the pollutants we have in the form of nitrogen dioxide and methane, they goes above and they combines with this chlorine monoxide radical which is formed and results in the formation of chlorine nitrate. And it also combines with methane to form methyl radical and HCl. So this is how they become chlorines sink, and this is how there is no as such chlorine free radicals, so no harmful effect during the summers. But what happens during winters is a special type of clouds are formed, which are basically called polar stratospheric clouds. Under these impact of these clouds, whatever the chlorine nitrate is formed, it gets hydrolyzed and produces hypochlorous acid and nitric acid. It combines with HCl also and forms chlorine and nitric acid. Now, when the summers again comes on the Antarctica, this hypochlorous acid breaks down into what? Chlorine radical, or this chlorine molecule breaks down into chlorine radical, and again these chlorine radicals start this depletion of ozone layer, and this is how we have got those holes over the South Pole, over the Antarctica, due to this series of chain reactions or the formation of chlorine radicals. We have been trying hard to control this, but we need to realize the harmful effects of this ozone or the ozone hole, because once these harmful radiations enters the Earth's atmosphere, it not only causes skin burns and cataract and skin cancers, but it also in fact give a very negative impact on the aquatic life, on the plants and other animals. The second type of pollution is called water pollution. It's most important because water is the main the substance which we take. That's the life supporting compound. We need to take water in order to survive. The water pollution mainly originates because of the human activity. And human activities, which includes not only throwing garbage or waste material to the rivers and the ponds which are there around us. It's mainly also the things which we throw out in the open. It is mainly due to the industrial waste, sewage disposal, and other sort of problems. So maybe agricultural waste also. So this water pollution is a major concern, because we know that in spite of having almost 3/4 of the earth being covered with water, we have almost less than 1% of the water which is potable. So we need to realize this problem and need to realize the reasons behind this, so that we can actually rectify this, and we can provide the drinking water safe to everyone, which is actually everybody's right. Now first, let us see what are the major causes of the water pollution. The first includes the pathogens, the living parts. It includes the bacteria, the algae, the fungi, the other things which actually are being there in the water, which mainly are actually there because of what the human waste or animal excretas. What we see that a lot of in the cities, the sewage disposal, this sewage waste is being just drained out in the rivers and in the other water sources. So what happens is that becomes a major source of these pathogens. They cause serious gastrointestinal problems and other infections, and they're the major reasons of the waterborne diseases and other diseases. The second type of category or the reason which causes water pollution is the organic waste. The organic waste in the form of the grass, the leaves, and the trash, and the other type of organic waste which we just throw away in the streams of water, or the agricultural waste we just throw away in the stream of water. Now what happens is these organic waste just decay in this water and consumes the oxygen which is there in the water, and that is how that leads to the deficiency in the percentage of oxygen which is there in the water, and that causes serious threat to the aquatic life. That is what is a very great concern. We need to know this. Whenever the oxygen demand oxygen, which we say DO, goes below 10, 10 ppm, it becomes very, very difficult for the aquatic life, or because less than 6 ppm, it becomes almost impossible for the aquatic life to survive. We check the oxygen content of any water sample of which we have taken either from a river or a pond by the chemical certain methods. That is what we call as BOD, biological oxygen demand, or chemical oxygen demand, if we do it by the chemical methods. Now, biological oxygen demands, chemical oxygen demands are the two scales by which we can find out what exactly is the amount of the organic waste or material is there which is decaying in that water, and it is to be taken care immediately, because if a lot of organic waste is decaying into that water, that will result in the serious drastic decrease in this oxygen content of the water, and that will harm the aquatic life or the marine life. So that is what is a major concern. We need to realize the BOD, biological oxygen demand, should be less than 5 for a normal water, and if it becomes more than 15 or 17 ppm, it becomes very, very harmful. That means that water is highly contaminated. It's very much polluted. The third major source of the pollution, or the cause of water pollution, are the chemical pollutants. The chemical pollutants are the ones which are actually being just thrown away in the form of industrial waste or agricultural waste, or the pesticides and insecticides, or the other fertilizers which we use in our fields, which are actually being just washed away or drained out in the rivers and the ponds and other sources. It mainly includes the PCBs, the polychlorinated biphenyls, and others ones which are very, very carcinogenic and harmful, and have other harmful effects on not only on human beings but also on animals also, which are drinking these waters. Now, we need to realize that these are the major causes of the water pollution, which we need to put a check on them, so that we can have at least a safe drinking water for everybody. Now, that is how the international standards for drinking water has been given out, so that we can make out that, okay, fine, if these harmful chemicals are there in this drinking water, above these percentage, that drinking water is not safe for drinking purpose. Like, we need to know the boundary lines. Like, for fluoride concentration, it should be up to 1 ppm only, and if it is above 1 ppm, it is harmful. Like, lead concentration should be around 50 ppb, parts per billion, and should not be above this. If it is very, very harmful. Similarly, the sulfates and the concentration should be only up to 500 ppm, and if it is above it, is harmful and leads to serious problems. Nitrates concentration 50 ppm, and we need to know this. If nitrate concentration becomes much more than this, it leads to what blue baby syndrome. The concentration of metal is also defined in the water samples. Like, the concentration of iron should not be beyond 0.2 ppm, aluminium 0.2 ppm, and zinc is 5 ppm. And like this, we have the different standards, and the concentration of different materials and other substances are very well defined, and it has to be as per this standards, otherwise that water is not potable.